Hi, folks. Otaku Mom here, and so I was watching my son scan through Hulu a little bit to see, so he could watch it, so he could watch My Hero Academia this afternoon, and I found that this was up on Hulu. I figured, oh, this looks like an interesting watch, so I just finished watching it, and seriously, you have to see this movie if you have Hulu. Um, the movie is called Untouchable. It is a documentary, and it is about the Harvey Weinstein case in regards to the allegations against him of sexual harassment and sexual assault. Um, and it basically goes into the kind of detail that the power that he wielded in Hollywood and New York when he was a producer for the Weinstein Company. Uh, it goes into his background. It tells it's his story as to when he decided to go into film, and and the documentary basically focuses on the victims because you have a lot of you have a few of his victims that are interviewed in this documentary. You have a lot of actresses that weren't really that aren't very well known. Um, but you also have so some bigger names like Rosanna Arquette was also interviewed for this documentary to talk about her experiences with Harvey Weinstein, and Paz de la Huerta, who was interviewed and is actually the part of the driving force as to what made the New Yorker go forward with the story about Weinstein and about the case, and talking about what he did. So, if you've been living under a rock for the past couple of years, Harvey Weinstein was a producer. Him and his brother Bob, they used to run Miramax, and then when they sold it to Disney, after still running Miramax for a while it was still under Disney, they decided to move on to run the Weinstein Company together, with Dimension Films kind of being on the sidelines too, as that was part of them too. And so while they were the big thing in Hollywood, um, when they were this big thing in Hollywood, they would have like hit after hit after hit, and they were like these huge marketers, and their movies were constantly being hits, and they really knew how to market their movies. They made sure that their films were Oscar worthy, and because they ended up winning a lot of Oscars, and because they knew the power of that Oscar as far as the box office went, and so they made sure that they got their Oscars, and they made sure that the actresses and actors went up on stage and thanked them each time when they went up there. Um, so a lot of you know some of the stories, but the stories told here in this documentary, uh, it's still shocking to me anyway that he was able to get away with what he did. Um, so I mentioned Pazuello, who was basically the driving force as to the smoking gun that they were able to get, because she had an incident with Harvey Weinstein, and I guess she went to the police, I think, to tell her story after. I think I was actually telling Sebastian, not sure the whole story though. She went to the police and they wired her, and they managed to get on tape uh, that she went to see him, and got some really damning evidence against him, and uh, they play that audio in the documentary, and it's really damning, um, and um, and they talk about not only the power he wielded within the Hollywood system, but also with the media, because you have two reporters that were interviewed they'd gone to a party to ask him a very innocuous question about the movie O, um, and and he just flipped out on them, and one of the reporters ended up getting a quote from him that basically, in the nicest terms possible, alluded to Harvey thinking he was the he was now the sheriff of the town being New York City at the time, and it's just very very it's a very interesting documentary, just watching the victims tell their stories, and how they got caught up as a machine, and how they feared that because of his power they couldn't do anything about it, but also talk with people who were part of the company, that were part of Miramax or the Weinstein Company, and would witness some of the stuff, but didn't witness the assaults, but found themselves in, like, with, I think, one interview he described as survivor's guilt, because a lot of them felt they knew something was going on, but they just assumed it was just the typical women sleeping with Harvey to get better roles, when it actually was a lot worse than that. And just from the rumors they had heard, and going with that, and it's just it is a very fascinating look into this, and it really really touches on the power that Harvey Weinstein had at the time, and it also touches on the fact that this is sort of a landmark case, that because of Weinstein, because of the Weinstein case, we now have the Me Too movement. And how this whole thing actually started the whole Me Too movement. And started with more women telling the stories, not only about Harvey Weinstein, but also about other people in their lives in Hollywood, and other businesses, other industries, also coming forward with allegations against other powerful men in those industries, and just causing this whole movement as to finally saying, we're mad as hell, we're not going to take it anymore. Now, I mean, my personal feelings on Me Too is that it started out as a good thing. There have been stories about the backlash of it, but I don't think it's so much as the backlash as that, as with any movement, in my opinion anyway, with any movement that we have, you'll start out going one way. Everybody's like, oh, rah, 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 sis, boom, bow, we gotta get rid of all these, really sexist pig men, kind of thing like that. And I'm just using this as an example. Get rid of the sexist pig men, and just go and start to go far this way. And the reaction tends to be, well, we don't know where the line is, so we're going to go this way. And you get these too far things saying, oh, they're only doing that because they're men, don't want to deal with this anymore. And the other side saying, no, we're doing this because we don't know where the line is, because we haven't been told. So I think at this point, in regards to Me Too, it needs to start evening itself out, so that we know where the lines are, and we could have a very equal working environment. But in the meantime, in regards to this documentary, if you have Hulu, watch it. It's very informative. It's very interesting. And you basically get an idea of how he gained this much power in Hollywood to make not only the victims of his sexual assaults, of alleged, I have to say alleged, because he's supposed to go to court in January, I believe, but not only the victims of his alleged sexual assaults, but also those around him, and the power that they felt that he had, the power that he had, and just for reasons why he felt untouchable in his life, why he felt that nobody could touch him when he did acquire that much power. So anyway, like, subscribe. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe to this channel, and I will talk to you later. Bye.